Alright, hello again. Audio blog. This time it's for Lindsey Stirling, the Shatter tour. This was a tour I did for just a week. I was really supposed to do it for about 9 days, but I had to go to the studio with Pierce the Veil, and they have priority, so I did that first. And then I got on this tour for, I think it was, it's like 7 days or so. And when I started this tour, I was in the middle of flying from a bunch of different things. So like I said, I was just with Pierce the Veil. So I went from Warped Tour to VidCon I went from Warped Tour to A Day to Remember to VidCon to Pierce the Veil to this. And it started in Orlando, Florida. I was already on the East Coast, so I just flew down the coast. And how this tour came about was basically through a mutual friend. I have a friend who knows somebody who plays for Lindsey Stirling, and they said, hey, this photographer wants to work with you. Can he come on tour? And she said, sure. She said, sure. She said, sure. She actually called me, which to me, I was like, Lindsey Stirling, whoa, big YouTube, like that's pretty cool, big, legit artist to me. So when she said yeah, and then she'd give me a call, I was kind of like, what the hell? What is this? They're giving me a phone call? That's kind of crazy. I don't think I've ever worked with an artist before who just called me right after the bat, especially in the past few years, because everybody I work for has people who represent them, but Lindsey kind of does it all herself. She does have people who work for her, but she's real. She's self-made. She's a real musician, and that is what I look for working with, people who are real. It's not fake. And believe it or not, a lot of artists are fake. So I try to avoid that. If the artists are fake, the photos aren't fake. Photos aren't real, and I want real stuff. See, I flew down to Orlando, Florida, met Lindsey, and got right to work. I just basically had to try to learn where I can and can't go, and I'm cautious when I'm first working with an artist, especially a female. I don't work with females often, so this was new, and I don't think I've ever really worked with a female, aside from Paramore, Tonight Alive, The Morning Of, a long time ago. And yeah, basically Lindsey, it's just her. She's the only one I photograph. I always photograph crew also because crew allows me to do my job, so I always, I'm very nice to them. Lindsey stretching, and just kind of played it safe. Didn't want to be too invasive right off the bat. And so obviously she has costume changes during the show, other things like that I'm not used to, and obviously you can't photograph that. So I just kind of kept my distance. And her show is like one big LED panel in the middle. It's a circle, and she has some stuff on the side as well. 2 dancers that also drum and do other things, a drummer and a keyboard player who comes out and plays guitar, and she plays violin the whole time. There's some shots. This is from Orlando, and she's very healthy, which I thought was awesome because I like to be healthy. So here she is eating a banana after a show with, I don't know why it's with a spoon. Maybe she had peanut butter on it. I forget. And the next day we had off day in Orlando. We stayed there for the 4th of July and went to Universal. And honestly, it was some of the most fun I've had in a really long time. These are all new people to me. The only person I knew was her keyboard player, and I had never hung out with him before. So this is just new all around. Yeah, we just walked around all day, and I had my camera, and they actually did a lot of the photos on their own, and I didn't want to be like weird, so I just took them when I could, when everybody wanted to be in it, and they did a lot of selfies and shot a lot on their own. I brought my GoPro on everything. There I am going down a ride. We don't know the 2 people in back. And then that night we cooked out and partied in the parking lot. And this tour is actually a dry tour, so there's no drinking or smoking or things like that, which is new for me, but I like it. I like to be clean and healthy, so this was kind of a nice little change for me. And we just made food, hung out. It was fun. And yeah, lit off some fireworks. Lindsey jumping over a firework. So funny, she posted that online and people were telling her how dangerous it is, and I'm like, those things, like, you could literally hold that thing and it barely hurts you. It's like a sparkler on a stick. Come on, guys. And there's some actual sparklers on sticks. This is Lindsey and her sister lighting off some fireworks. Next day we were in Boca Raton, Florida, which is like south in Florida, and it's actually an outdoor amphitheater, which is awesome because that means natural light to shoot with. So here's some stuff during sound check that I shot with natural light. Looks so pretty. She has such cool hair. It's like orange, matches her violin or in that one. It's one of her dancers, just so ripped, muscular dude. Cool guy, cool guy. There she is sound checking. She like practices her dance moves, warms up, does things like that. This is her violin tech. You can see the violins in the back, and he has his whole station, and he's pretty much the most important guy. Make sure everything works. Every day before the show, she like warms up in the bathroom. So I went in there with her and took some pictures, and I was actually stoked at how open she was with me on everything. Excuse me. She let me photograph a lot of things right off the bat that maybe some people would take some time to get used to. She just has nothing to hide, so it's nice. Oh, there was like such a beautiful sunset that night. Stood over there with Gavi and took some pictures. And it was in the venue, or I would have taken Lindsey, so I couldn't get it. But we did try going outside the venue to a similar location, but just didn't look as cool. I do like that image though. I like it actually. Here she is stretching, putting on her shoes before the set. And then again, just some live shots of the set that night. Battery died, but I'm back. But yeah, live shots, learning curve for me, just learning how to shoot with such changing light schemes. I wasn't used to that. I mean, they changed for the other bands, but this is different. Like, this was a whole light show. Bowing. And then the cool thing about Lindsey is she comes from YouTube. So she posts a lot of videos online, edits a lot, does a lot herself, and she'll be up till like 4 a.m. editing, and that's what this is. She's editing, and one of her dancers is working on videos as well. And I thought that was awesome because I can stay up and work on my stuff, and everybody just kind of hangs out, works on their computer, and that's different. Usually people are like partying. Next day we're in Birmingham, Alabama, which I have never actually been there before. And the food was in the venue, so we ate up front at the restaurant. And then that night, just another concert. Again, just shooting around. I didn't get that many images I liked that day, or not that many that were approved. That's another thing, is Lindsey has to approve every photo I take. I can't just go posting things online without her permission, and I don't post stuff first either. I take photos for the artist. The artist has to agree on everything that gets posted. Nothing is taken for me. I'm not using it for my own personal press. They're using it, and then I can post about it as well. But I'm not taking a photo for my own promotion. Next day we're in New Orleans, Louisiana. So this is Gabi working on his stuff in the dressing room. I thought this was cool because I got fist pounded that day before they went on stage. So I was like, yes, I've been accepted. And that morning we went and walked around and went shopping and went to a record store, went and got donuts. Went on like all these adventures in Louisiana, which I thought was cool. It's just different. I'm not used to doing stuff with just one person and her crew. I'm used to being with 5 guys, pretty much married to 5 guys, and then this is just more relaxed, and I liked it. Here are her dancers dancing. And then we went out at night, but it was kind of sketchy, and we walked around, and it smelled bad, and this is Lindsey, her sister, and Gabi. Took a selfie. And the thing about them is that all of them can dance. Lindsey dances on stage. Her sister was just a dancer, I guess, because she could. Gabi can dance because he's a musician. Then her dancers can obviously dance. So, like, when we went out, like, we went to a club in New Orleans, like, we would stop, and they would legit be able to dance, like, look like badasses. And my dancing is like, yeah, just, like, move around. And they go in, and they're like feeling it, getting into it. Like, people are like, damn, I want to dance with those people. And I was like, yeah, I'm with them. I'm with the cool. But we just went, we danced to Paramore. I think I have footage of that. That's all we really did, though. And that was fun. The next day, we were in Houston, Texas, and this was actually my last day on the tour. We had an off day there first, and that night, I went with, before we went out to eat, I was like, Lindsey, we should do a photo shoot. Maybe a sunset by the parking ramp, kind of cliche, but we could get some cool shots. She's like, yeah, let's do it. And I was like, really? She's down to do it? That's sick. So I thought she had forgotten, and I didn't want to push to make her do it, but we were all getting ready in one of the hotel rooms. She was in there. She's like, all right, let's go do this photo shoot. And I was like, really? We're doing it? Okay, cool. And she's like, I saw this blue wall in the lobby that looks awesome. Let's go shoot there. And I was like, okay, in the lobby, like in the hotel? And she's like, yeah. I was like, okay, I'm not used to people wanting to shoot in publicly accessible areas. Usually people like want to be private, not have people see them, but she did not give a shoot. So we shot there. This is in front of like a couch thing, and just like I had my nice f-stoppers like flash disc. Great, put it on top of my speed light. All these were lit with a 580EX. There's only 3 in here because that's all that got approved. I think there's a few more on her website, but it did take a lot. We shot for about a half an hour, and even people came in to like use the computers right in there, and she did not care. She was like, all right, we'll keep shooting. And yeah, I was stoked. I'm stoked that she was stoked to work with me because that's a good feeling. And then I went swimming. That's one of her dancers. We were hanging out underwater. Last day, this is like one of my favorite venues. I went here on the Spring Fever tour. It was great. I shot Pierceville an all-time low there and got some of my favorite crowd atmosphere shots. It's just a very well-lit venue, and the smoke is very evenly distributed throughout the atmosphere. So the lights light up everywhere, and you can see everything really well. Kind of like in this photo, you can see the lights, you can see all the rays, there's the color in the air, and in this photo as well, it's one of the dancers doing a backflip. He is nutty. Yeah, and that's everybody with their cell phone lights out. That's probably one of my favorite photos from the tour. And this looks like their dancer is flying. I don't even actually know where he was when I took that. It just looks insane. Sold out show that night, packed. Hi, Mark. And again, just some more shots of Lindsey live. Took a crowd shot then that day in front of the crowd because it was a big show for them, and that's pretty much it. Overall, it was like a positive experience, really bunch of active people, and I hope I can go on tour with them again. They're in Europe right now, but I think maybe they'll do a U.S. tour next year or something, and I'll be lucky enough to go on it with them and take some more photos. So, hope you enjoyed. Mark, cut it out. Doing serious shit right now. He's rubbing his face on everything because he wants food. Watch. Mark. Look at him.